talk about reading epidemic curves. This is one of my favorite topics because an epi curve is basically an outbreak telling you what kind of outbreak it is, if you know how to listen. First, the structure. The x-axis is time of symptom onset, not the date reported, not the date of the lab result, the onset. The y-axis is the number of cases. Each bar represents one case or a defined time interval. Getting that x-axis right is what makes everything else interpretable. Now, the shapes. A point source curve is a sharp, narrow single peak. It rises fast, it falls fast, and the whole thing is over within about one incubation period. That shape tells you every animal was exposed at the same moment. Think a single contaminated feed delivery. A continuous common source curve is a broad plateau. It goes up and then it just stays up. That plateau means the exposure is ongoing and has not been removed yet. For example, a contaminated water supply that's still in use. And here's the practical read. As long as that plateau continues, your source is still live. When it finally drops off, that often tells you when the exposure was removed. A propagated curve shows successive waves, each one typically larger than the last, separated roughly by one incubation period. That's animal to animal transmission. That's an R naught greater than 1, and it means you can't just remove a source and walk away. You have to interrupt transmission between hosts. And then mixed patterns, which is honestly what you'll see most often in the real world. It starts as a point source, everybody exposed at once, and then secondary transmission takes over and propagates it. You get that initial sharp peak followed by ripples. Last piece, and this is a favorite exam calculation. You can use the curve to estimate when exposure happened. Find the median case on the curve and subtract the median incubation period. That points you at the exposure time. You can also work from the first case and the minimum incubation period, and from the last case and the maximum to bracket a window. Once you have that window, you go looking for what happened during it. That's how a curve turns into an actual lead. If this helped, like, subscribe, and share for more.